Hello and welcome along to this tutorial. This is the next tutorial in the series. So we've talked about FSX Pilot, the basics. We've talked about updating your navigation data and the best way to do that, in my opinion, with your simulator of choice. And now we're going to move on to creating a flight plan. So I'm assuming you have updated your navigation data, because I have, and that's the most realistic way to have it done. And then we're going to create a flight plan with FSX Pilot. So let's just go over to the sim. We're not actually going to be flying today, but this is where we are. So we're down on the ground at East Midlands in the UK, EGNX in the default Cessna Caravan in FSX. And we're going to pretend that we want to take this across to Manchester in the UK, EGCC. It's a very short route, a very short flight plan, but it's a good one to just demo how you would create a flight plan. So once you've updated your navigation data, you have two options for flight planning. The two websites are SimBrief and Online Flight Planner. Online Flight Planner I find is best for general aviation aircraft or shorter flights because it is very simple. Its interface isn't cluttered at all. It's pretty easy to make a flight plan, and it just gives you what you need to get you there, the very basics. At its core, a flight plan is just a list of waypoints that the plane will follow with FSX Pilot's help, and that will get you, to your destination, and then you can go and land the plane with FSX Pilot. You can automate flight plans with FSX Pilot. You can do lots of things. You can automate it to the point where you can literally just click run flight plan, sit back, and it will take it to your destination. I prefer to be a little more active with my flight plans and actually control the speed and altitude myself. So yeah. So we're just going to create the plan today. We're not actually going to be flying, and we're going to be using the Online Flight Planner website. But I did say there was two options, and the other option is SimBrief. SimBrief is a little more complicated to use, but it does give you more in the way of a flight plan. It gives you a lot more information, and it also gives you more file formats, I find, to download. So the basic file format for a flight plan that you will get is a Pln file, and that goes into the simulator itself before you create your FSX Pilot flight plan. But with SimBrief you also get other file formats to download. For example, you might get one to put into import into the VATSIM client. So if you want to fly on VATSIM, which I'll be covering in another video, you can import SimBrief, a SimBrief flight plan into it as well. But we're going to be using Online Flight Planner today because this flight is very short, and it's just easier to demonstrate. I won't be demonstrating SimBrief today. I may do that in another tutorial, we'll see, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I think after a few goes at it you'll easily work it out, especially if you've used Online Flight Planner before. So yeah, they both do the same thing at their core. Like I say, they give you a flight plan that you can download that tells you which waypoints to use and things, but it's just SimBrief gives you a bit more detail. Which we don't need for today's flight. So let's get into it, shall we? And let's go to the website that we're going to need. So we're just going to leave this aircraft down here. The only reason I've got the aircraft loaded is because it helps to have a plane up when you're using FSX Pilot. Otherwise the program is very sluggish. So menu. Right.
Program 7-zip double. Menu
Internet. This is what we want.
Internet Explorer. https://www.google.co.uk/Internet Explorer. Google. Search combo box editable. Land.
So Online Flight Planner for FSX we'll put in. It works for P3D as well, but we'll just make sure we get the right one.
Online Flight Planner for FSX. Google search. Main landmark search. Web results. Online Flight Planner only for flight simulation. Visited link.
See, it says only for flight simulation, so it can't be used in the real world. Right, so we'll boot this up and then we'll just fill in the details that we need to create our plan. And we're going to pretend we're cruising at 4,000. Right, so we're at departure. So we're going to put in EGNX. That's where we're currently down on the ground at. And then at the bottom of that field, you'll see it brings up a result. East Midlands Airport, large airport, United Kingdom. Just click on any of that. So we'll enter on it. That's perfect. Country code we don't need to fill in because we've just done the airport, so you can ignore that. Destination we're going to EGCC. And it's searching. There you go, Manchester Airports, that's when we want. Enter on that. Country code we don't need again because we've just filled in our destination. That's found it for us anyway. ERAC cycle. Now this is
Combo box
important.
collapse 1808.
I showed you in the last video how to update your navigation data, and so you'll need to make sure that if you are on the latest ERAC cycle, that box is on the right thing. So the latest ERAC that we're currently on is 1808 at the time of recording this video, so that's fine. But you can see if you go into the combo box, you can roll it back to different ERACs, 1806, yeah, whatever you're currently on. But yeah, I'd advise being on the latest one. So
combo box collapse 1808.
Yeah, we're back on 1808 in the combo box. Perfect. That just means that it'll give you the most up-to-date waypoints.
Altitude range, min/max.
So this is your altitude range, minimum and maximum. We're going to be cruising at 4,000.
Combo box collapse FL040.
Which is already set. You can see FL040 flight level. So for 4,000 feet there.
Combo box collapse FL040.
And the maximum is also set on FL040. I don't want to be going any higher than 4,000 really for this flight because it's such a short flight. So I've just set the minimum and maximum possible altitude for this flight to 4,000. Level.
Combo box collapse both.
Is currently on both. I'm going to set that to low because
low.
We are, we're going quite low and it's just a GA. If we were flying a jet and we were going higher, we could set it to high.
Combo box collapse low.
Perfect. Aircraft.
Combo box collapse Cessna Grand Caravan.
Is set on Cessna Grand Caravan. These are aircraft profiles in here, so let me just show you. You can see you've got Cessna Citation X and
Canadair CRJ 900.
All these types of things.
Cessna Grand Caravan.
Leave it on Cessna Grand Caravan. The only reason you might want to set that is so that you can look at the fuel. It will give you an estimation of how much fuel you're going to need for the flight, and then, as I demonstrated in a previous video, you can go into fuel and payload in the simulator and adjust how much fuel that you have, and you can use this website, and SimBrief does it as well, to calculate how much you're going to need for the flight. In a small GA aircraft like this, it won't make a whole lot of difference if you take a bit too much fuel, but if you want to be really realistic, then you can make sure you have exactly the right amount of fuel for the flight.
Fuel unit.
This is just a fuel unit that it's going to show you in. That's absolutely fine.
Checkbox checked.
Now these are some checkboxes. I'd recommend just to leave these alone really. So you see it's saying use SIDS. That just means that it will set up the first waypoint on your flight plan so that you can fly a SID if you would like to that waypoint.
Checkbox checked. Use stars.
You can see there, checkbox checked to use stars. That just means it will set up the last waypoint on your flight plan so that you can then go and fly a star if you would like.
Checkbox checked. RNAV equipped.
That just means that the aircraft is RNAV equipped. That's of no consequence to us because FSX Pilot can't do RNAV approaches really.
Checkbox not checked. Taken routes.
Taken routes, just leave that as it is unchecked.
Checkbox checked. Not yes.
And then that can be checked
create plan.
And whatever. Okay, so the next button we've got is create plan, and just another thing that might be of interest is you can see you've got your reset to defaults and then the last 10 flight plans that people have created on the website. So you can see that one's going from EKCH to ENTC. So if you ever want to have a look what people have created or maybe use them for yourself, you can you could have a go. They're always there for you as well.
Reset to default. Button create plan.
But we want to create our plan now, so we're going to do that.
Unavailable, please wait.
Now, there is a bug sometimes where when you press the create plan button on this website, it doesn't create it straight away. So we'll see if it works. It said please wait. I think it is
working. Table with 4 rows and 7 columns, row 1, column 1 ID.
Right, there we go.
Out of table East Midlands Airport, EGNX, right double arrow Manchester Airport, EGCC.
So it's showing us like a preview of our plan on this page now. So you can see you've got, I just told you the airports, and then you have a table
4 rows and 7 columns, row 1, column 1 ID.
Showing you all the waypoints of the plan. So you've got the ID, the frequency, which we don't need,
column 3 track.
The track,
column 4 distance, NM,
distance,
column 5 through 6 coordinates, column 7 name / remarks. Row 2 ID, column 1 EGNX.
So we can see the first waypoint is EGNX, which is obviously our starting.
Sequence, track, distance, coordinate, name / remarks. Row 3 ID, column 1 TNT.
Then we're going to a waypoint called TNT in the UK.
Frequent, track, distance, coordinate, name / row 4 ID, column 1 EGCC.
And then direct to EGCC. So you can see what a short flight plan this is. We literally got one waypoint, then our destination airport. So it's a very short flight plan, but a good demo. So that's
Sequence,
it.
track,
And then
distance,
we can keep going down.
Name / out of table A waypoint can be enabled / disabled by clicking on it, except first 2 and last 2 waypoints.
Okay, so that's just telling us that. So we can see what waypoints we're going to right there.
3 fixes, 46 NM.
You can see it says 3 fixes, 46 nautical miles. That's our flight plan distance. And you've got our airways here. and that's just telling us there that we're going EGNX SID, then to TNT and direct.
Provided by graphic RFSML link route finder.
And that's just telling you
Mirror.
what it's provided by.
Departure EGNX 151,420Z 2017 KT9999 BKN03222/15Q1014.
Okay, so that probably meant nothing to a lot of people. I'm not going to go into it all now, but that's the METAR information for our our starting airport, East Midlands. So if you can read that properly and you know how to read METAR information, then that will make sense to you. But that's giving us information about the airport and the current weather there.
Destination EGCC
We've also got the destination.
Fuel quantity for Cessna Grand Caravan.
And the fuel quantity for the Cessna Grand Caravan. So if we wanted to, we could go and change the fuel quantity that we currently have on the aircraft.
Table with 4 rows and 3 columns. Row 1, column 1.
Got
Column 2 fuel. Column 3 time. Row 2, column 1 fuel usage.
Fuel usage.
Fuel column 2 134 lbs.
So 134 lbs there.
Time column 3029.
That's saying 29 minutes.
Row 3 column 1 reserve fuel.
And that's our reserve fuel. So that's what we're taking in case we need to divert, or we need to just circle for a minute.
Fuel column 2 341 lbs.
That's 341 lbs.
Time column 3 115.
That's 1 hour 15 minutes.
Row
I
4
think.
column 1 fuel on board.
Fuel on board. That's our total fuel on board. So we know that we've got that much fuel, and it's going to last us 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that's to get there, and any reserves.
Fuel column 2 476 lbs.
476
Time column 3
lbs.
144.
That's 1 hour
Our
44.
table provided by linkfuelopener.com.
I don't know what that is actually. I don't know why it said that. Okay, so we can see how much fuel we've got on board anyway. Total.
Table with fuel column 2 476 lbs.
So you can use this little handy table here to go and customize the fuel. Remember though that you need to ensure that your tanks are carefully balanced. You don't want too much on one side or anything, and you need to make sure that you're not overweight with the aircraft.
Time out of table provided by linkfuelopener.com. Blank. Link click to see this area on Google Maps.
And then it just gives us a map. So that's pretty much the last useful piece of information we need from this page. Right, so the next button we're going to need is the Go to the Files button, which is going to allow us to download the PLN file with this flight plan in it. So we're going to press B.
Toggle full screen view button.
No.
Zoom in button.
No.
Zoom out button.
No.
OK button.
No.
Go to the Files button.
That's the one we want. Enter on that. And it launches into a page. So if we now press down arrow,
link EGNX-EGCC.pln.
we get EGNX-EGCC.pln, and you can customize which types of files you would like to see, but we just want the PLN for now. And we can press enter on this.
Alert notification bar text. Do you want to open or save EGNX?
And we're going to go to save.
Save split button. Save as. Save as a. Online flight planner.
And we're going to dump this in Flight Simulator X files, because that's the sim we're going to be using it in. And if it was P3D you were doing this in, it'd be prepare v4 files, I think it's called.
JFO in flight plans not selected 1 of 12.
And as it would happen, that's already defaulted to Flight Simulator X files. So we can see in the file name again.
Selected EGNX-EGCC.
That's the title of the plan.
Combo box PLN file collapse.
It's saving it as a PLN, so we can shift tab and just go, yeah, fine. Save.
Alert notification bar text. Alert notification bar text. The EGNX-EGCC.pln download.
Right, so that's now downloaded, which just means it's in the simulator. The simulator has the information. So, for example, if we wanted to use default ATC on this flight, we now could, because the sim knows what our flight plan is, and that will be something we'll be doing in the next video, actually. But now we have our flight plan created, we can exit out of that, and you can hear we've been thrown back into the sim. So we're going to go to FSX Pilot now and make sure that we have our flight plan set up with that first. So we're going to do this.
Folder view list. Freedom FSX active Sky FSX Pilot 23440.
One as admin, of course, as always.
Open open pit run as administrator. Folder view list FSX Pilot 23441.
And then I'll show you how we create the flight plan with FSX Pilot, and then pretty much we would be good to go and fly it if we were actually going to do that, which I'm going to save for the next video. The next video we will actually be flying this flight plan and using default ATC. So kind of we can integrate that. You can hear it start up speech recognition as well, because FSX Pilot has speech recognition features. I may do a tutorial on that, but if I don't, remember there's always the manual. It's a very lengthy manual, and I always recommend that you go and check out the manual if you're new, because there's a lot of helpful information in there.
Menu.
Right, so we're going to go to Flight Plan, and we're going to go Import FSX P3D Flight Plan, because we've already created it. We need to import it now into this.
Open dialog. File name.
So open.
JFO in flight plans not selected 1 of 13.
Okay, so we're going to go all the way down. It's defaulted to Flight Simulator X files, but if it hadn't, that's where you would need to go, or prepare v4 files, so that we can actually get the flight plan, the PLN file we've just created, and then import it. So we're going to press E.
EGCC-EDDL3 of 13.
That's not the right one.
EGGDIDW4 of 13.
Nope.
EGNX-EGCC5 of 13.
Perfect, that's the one we want. We're going to press enter.
FS pilot info screen dialog. Do you want to add a standard takeoff and landing procedure for fixed wing aircraft? Yes, but no plus Y.
So this is asking if we want to add a standard takeoff or landing procedure, which means it will do that for us. I usually say no on this. I like to control what type of approach we get, especially if you're using ATC, because they will give you an approach. So I usually say no to this and do it manually.
No, but no plus N.
But it's completely up to you. You can try it out both ways.
Space FS pilot info screen dialog. Do you want to add a standard takeoff procedure for helicopter aircraft? Yes, but no plus Y.
Now, a note here. I'm going to say no to this, obviously, because we're not a helicopter, but there is a bug with the latest FSX Pilot version where it adds a helicopter landing procedure even if you click no. I have no idea why. It's very annoying. So it's always best to go into the flight plan that FSX Pilot creates and apologies, ignore that, and delete the helicopter landing procedure, but I'll show that in a minute. Anyway, we're going to click no.
Space. Autopilot main panel dialog. Heading course HD.
Okay, so that has now imported it, and we've chosen our options and said what we want. So now we need to go to flight plan again.
Files flight load create new import save as FSP flight plan.
And go to save as FSP flight plan.
Dialog. Save as dialog. File.
And let's see where it's saving it to, and it's defaulted again to the FSX Pilot Flight Plans folder this time, so that's where you want it to go if it doesn't automatically default there.
File name, combo box collapsed, edit alt plus N, selected EGNX EGCC.
So we can see that's the file name.
Save as type, combo box flight plan files, star.txt,
It's a TXT file, of course.
File name, combo box collapsed, edit
So we're going to press enter.
Save, FS Pilot dialog, override existing file, OK button.
Now I have already created this flight plan before because I have already flown this route many times before on VATSIM and things. So it's asking me if I want to override it. I'm just going to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll go okay. Usually you wouldn't have to do that, but because I've already made this plan before, then I'm saying okay.
Autopilot main panel dialog.
And that has now been created. So it's been saved in my flight plans folder in FSX Pilot. So we can go and edit it now, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what it contains in the most basic flight plan we've created, in just the fact that you've got your start point, a waypoint, and then an end point.
Menu, apps, search unknown.
So,
everything, edit, blank,
FSX Pilot.
LOT, list.
Is it going to load? No? Okay, let's try again.
Apps, search unknown, everything, edit, blank, FSX PILOT, list.
Let me give it a minute to load.
Edit, list.
Don't know why it's not bringing anything up.
Everything, edit, blank, FSX PILOT, list. 75A40EF.
Oh, it is now, is it?
75 read list. FSX Pilot.
Yeah, it is. There we go. I have no idea what it's
Menu.
doing actually.
Still everything. List FSX Pilot manual.pdf. Path C. FSX Pilot setup.zip. FSX Pilot
Right, we want the home directory.
Still FSX Pilot 2. Path C.
There we go. FSX Pilot 2. It'll be in. Let me show you where mine
FSX Pilot
is.
2. Path C. Program files. X86. Date modified.
Yeah, program files x86. I don't know where's your FSX Pilot will be, but this is what you want.
Still everything.
To go in here.
List FSX.
And then.
Items view list. Books 2 of 37. Flight plans 3 of 37.
Flight plans folder. I don't know what it was doing there. Apologies about that. It's just Windows Explorer being strange. So we're now in the flight plans folder where all the flight plans are contained. So we're going to press E, and there's a lot of default ones that come with FSX Pilot. So we're going to have to find ours.
EBBRN.
Let's keep going down until we find EGNX.
Hospital flight. EDDM. SED. EGD. EGGD. EGLLKS. EGNX. EGNX EGCC 31.
There we go, EGNX EGCC. Now, we want to edit this flight plan just to make sure that it's perfect for us, and because it's saved in the location that it is, it won't let me do that here. It gives me an administrator error, so I'm just going to copy this, and I'm just going to put it in my documents folder.
Documents window.
Just to make things easier. And we're going to open it.
Untitled.
You want to open it with Notepad.
//
Now I'm going to show you what's in the flight plan.
// flight plan for FSX.
So this is just information telling you to flight plan for FSX. You can add comments here, so we're going to ignore this.
Set origin EGNX.
So that's set origin EGNX is your first starting airport.
Set destination EGCC.
You can see that.
Set speed and its knots.
That's just saying you can control the speed there.
Set distance and its miles.
That's saying that.
Set user input on.
And that's an important line as well, set user input on. That means that you can actually input and change things while the flight plan is running. So you can adjust speeds, you can adjust altitudes. If that was changed to user input off, then you wouldn't be able to do that.
Waypoint 0.0120.0 TNT 53.05395278961.66996944.
So that was taking us to our first waypoint. You heard a lot of numbers there. They were the coordinates that that the waypoint is at, but you heard it said TNT. Let me play it for you again.
Waypoint 0.0120.0 TNT 50.
Yeah, that's the name. So TNT. That was the first waypoint that we saw earlier from East Midlands. So we go East Midlands, then we're going to this TNT, and then the next waypoint
Waypoint 0.0120.0 EGCC 53.
is EGCC, our destination airport. So it would select EGCC, and then of course you would just go into the menu and select your approach. There would usually be more waypoints than that. You would usually, typically have about 5 or 6. It all depends on how long your flight plan is. But this is just a demonstration, so I just did one that had one waypoint in. That's fine. Now the next part is the helicopter landing procedure that you have to get rid of.
Select EGCC.
Where it says select EGCC, head target, all this is rubbish, and it's going to try and land your plane like a helicopter, so you want to get rid of this.
Select waypoint 0.0120.0 EGCC.
Everything after that last waypoint that's going direct to your destination airport, so there, we're going to go...
Select EGCC selected.
Select this
distance,
all the way to the end of the flight plan,
end selected.
and you heard it say end selected.
End
We're going to
selected.
unselect that because you want it to say end and get rid of it. So all we've now got on our flight plan is
Waypoint set user
this.
input on.
All that stuff at the top, set user input on and all that.
Waypoint 0.0120.0 TNT 53.
Saying go to TNT,
Waypoint 0.0120.0 EGCC 53.
EGCC,
End.
and then end. So that's literally all the flight plan is. There are other commands, as I say, so you can get it to adjust the speed for you, you can get it to adjust the altitude for you. So if we listen here,
Waypoint 0.0120.0 EGCC 53.3538889-2.2750000.
there's literally just coordinates there, but you could set it so that I don't know, for example at Manchester, when it goes direct to Manchester it will start descending for you, or like I say, that's all covered in the manual, and you can look at that there. So we're going to just save this because that's all we want for today, the flight plan
Documents window.
with those waypoints. So we're going to cut this flight plan
EGCC 64.
back into the FSX Pilot Flight Plans folder,
Replace or skip
hit
this.
replace,
Continue with skip.
continue with automatic administrator rights, and that has been replaced. So all we essentially did there was I showed you what was in the plan, and we removed the helicopter landing procedure thing
Menu.
because we do not need that at all, and that's just going to mess the flight plan up.
Windows security alert dialog. Windows Defender Firewall. Let's block some features of exact Windows Defender Firewall. Let's block some features of Universal Autopilot for fixed wing and helicopter aircraft and FSX on all public and private networks. Name Universal Autopilot.
Okay, I don't know why it's done that, so let me just
public net. What are the risks? Allow access button.
allow access to that. I think it's because I'm on a new Wi-Fi network, so apologies for that, ignore that.
Windows security alert dialog. Windows Defender
now
Firewall.
what?
Let's block some features of exact Windows Defender Firewall. Let's block some features of Universal Autopilot for fixed wing. Flight plans. Status bar.
Oh, it's got rid of it now. Anyway, so we've pasted our new flight plan where we've removed the helicopter landing procedure into the FSX Pilot Flight Plans folder. Hopefully you won't have to do that in the future when that bug is fixed. Okay,
Menu.
so we'll Alt F4 that now, we don't need it anymore.
Documents row 1 column.
Neither do we need
Still everything.
documents, and we don't need that. So now we have created our flight plan with FSX Pilot. We've gone in with Notepad and edited it to make sure it's perfect and what we want. So you can add all sorts of stuff in there yourself if you would like, and now we would like to open it with FSX Pilot, or kind of get it up and running so that we're ready to run it whenever we want. So if we're going to go flight plans,
Load create new flight plan. C. Load FSP flight plan. L.
and we're going to go to load FSP flight plan. You can also go to
Load run FSP flight plan. L.
load and run, which will mean it will instantly start running your flight plan for you. We don't want to do that because then it would select our first waypoint, and we're obviously not in the air yet, so we can't go there.
Load FSP flight plan. L.
So load FSP flight plan.
Dialog. Open dialog file name. Taxi not
Go to the list. We're going to go E, then go down again to our one that we just made. EGNX EGCC. Enter.
Autopilot main panel dialog.
And it is now loaded in, ready for us to run. So when we were in the air, if we were actually going to take off right now, which we're not, but if we did, then all you would do is go to flight plan,
Flight plan submenu.
go down,
Load create save copy with run flight plan R.
and run flight plan, which is also R, and that would run the flight plan. and it would go direct for us to TNT, the first waypoint on our plan. So that is how you create the flight plan with a website such as Online Flight Planner. Obviously, like I say, you can also use SimBrief. Then you want to download it as a PLN. Make sure it goes in your simulators folder, like Prepper v4 files or Flight Simulator X files. And then go into FSX Pilot, create it as an FSX Pilot flight plan, making sure that you set it as you would like. Make sure you go into Notepad with the flight plan in FSX Pilot's flight plan folder and just check everything's set exactly as you want it to be, and make sure that helicopter landing thing is removed probably as well, and then just make sure it's all saved and just load it into FSX Pilot, and then you're ready to go. You can hit run whenever you would like. So that's pretty much it, to be honest with you, to create a flight plan and load it in. So we'll exit out of that. So yeah, in the next video what we're going to do is actually fly this flight plan route. We're going to be using default ATC, and I want to just demonstrate that to you. And we're going to load the flight plan in and everything, and just fly the route across to Manchester that we just created. So that's how to create a flight plan. Next video, like I say, we will be flying it with ATC. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video as well as always, and the usual comments. If you have any questions, blindflightsimmer44@gmail.com, at bflightsimmer Twitter, and there's the Blind Pilots mailing list if you need any help. See you in the next one.